Hey guys, it's Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? This one's gonna kill me because it's so good and I have to take it down. Anywho, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'm sensing I'm being shadow banned. For those normal people who don't know what that is, it's speaking on things that might have some truth to it, but they don't want you to know. And who is they? Everything that I talk about. So, any help from that end, it's free. It helps me. I post a lot. I know it's annoying sometimes, but it's essential right now. Big time. So the video that I'm going to have to exchange this with is one of the most essential keys to the Keys of Enoch. There's a few of them, and this is arguably one of the top ones, and it's key 118. And I paired it with also key 209. Because it's talking very similarly on things. Unfortunately, there is a lot of stuff that this took me seriously. I was going to do this video last night. The problem is I had to specifically try to word things where I didn't lose its meaning. I did the best that I could. It won't be perfect, and it's nothing like the book. I give air quotes to certain things that I just can't reword, but there's a lot of intention that I have to try to keep the message as to what JJ Hertech wanted. Yeah, it's gonna take me some time to, even with the law of wanted, I'm having trouble, I'm like, spirit help. Trying to reiterate things where it doesn't lose its meaning. And there's a lot of stuff where it comes to biochemistry and some of the physics terms that there's like no way I can write. I conceptualize things. I don't have the scientific knowledge like other people do to describing things of that nature. So just please bear with me on that. I'm not here to delude anything, but I don't want my channel taken down. Again, I like the voice of the author to speak because it gives its true meaning. With that said, I have no control over some of the things that have come down my path. It's all a learning curve. And it's not because I didn't know about laws and stuff. No, there are plenty of people who do and read the content and nothing happens. Whether they got permission or not, if that too many people have permission, then I don't understand. Like, it's free reign. But it is what it is. All right. So key 118 emphasizes big time, bigly, that we violated cosmic law. No. Personally, we didn't. We didn't commission the atomic weapons that are in the stash hold today. Not nuclear, atomic. We did not build these things, nor did we vote on these things. These things were done. But because we are a part of society and a part of the people doing it, we all fall. Gotta love that stuff, right? So, violation of cosmic law of love and light. The plan to balance the violation has been issued. So we're getting our second chance. We're getting our second chance. The canceling out of the destruction of our violation due to the misuse of atomic energy. And my note, aka Atlantis, was our first downfall as species. Not necessarily human, but species. We on Earth detonated atomic. I mean, it could be questioned if it was a cobalt bomb. That's what took out Mars and Meldeck. But we used it again in our time. WW2. And we still have atomic weaponry in our midst today. Now, we can argue that our galactic friends kind of neutralized all of those fun gadgets. And I bet they did, because they use way more upscale stuff than we would ever notice. Beams of light coming from the sky and blowing things up. So that's the first portion that is a very heavy undertaking, that we violated cosmic law because of those weapons. And we are now being given a chance to redeem ourselves. And this is now the second time, in my eyes. Which pushes to the next point, the genetic manipulation as well. So it wasn't just the detonation of atomic bombs and having them. It's also the fact that back in Atlantis, there was genetic manipulation. There were crossbreeding. So the Atlanteans crossed with the mer people who were also a part of Atlantis, the mermaids, and they kind of, we got stronger, but our spirituality lessened. Well, it wasn't just that type of manipulation. One could lead their fantasies to what we're dealing with now. Not pretty things. Also, the push for use to move to other planetary fields with not having the full scope of spiritual knowledge, also using death technology. So under this cosmic law, we tried in World War II, for instance, when the bell came out from Germany, and we moved on to different planes of existence without having the ascension technology and the knowledge of spiritual oneness and unity of love and light to be able to comprehend what goes on in other places, in other dimensions. There is also like Project Montauk with the trip seat. There's a lot, the Project Looking Glass. There's just a lot of technology out there. And the cosmic law was breached. Death technology for me is what was positioned on the moon of our recycling, instead of being able to go back and relax and rest with creator, not necessarily creator, but the Brotherhood of Light and the thought adjusters and all those awesome beings up there. Most of the time we got recycled back. Other types of death technology exists. JJ does not mention it, but it's my preview to go into it a little bit. Stealing and soul swapping, soul contamination, like taking the soul out and putting it in a box. When people are vrilled, things of that nature. To me, that's death technology, because you're killing the link between the body and the soul. So that's cosmic law. That is what we broke as humanity, as society. Now, is it our fault? Not necessarily, because we didn't know anything about it. I think if people were more aware of the things that actually take place with our money, perhaps a lot of this stuff wouldn't have never happened, because people wouldn't want to know why there is a baby tiger hybrid, why there's children going missing, and then, you know, things happening. It's not good. Now, we have councils that govern our local universe. He mentions the Council of Nine, and we've heard a few people talk about the Council of Nine. Now, there's different types of councils, and there's different types of councils that inhibit that number 9. I don't know which one he's referring to, but we'll go with the Council of Nine. Also, the Council of 12. And they look over the new programs of creation. We're programmed, folks. We're programmed. All in the design of Father, though. And there's also 144 council that they are the overseer, which governs spiritual hierarchies of the Father's universe. So you could basically, this is why I have to do, eventually I'm going to get to it, I promise, a synopsis between the Keys of Enoch, the Urantia book, and a Waspe. But more so with this chapter, the Urantia book talks about all the subsections of like the thought adjusters, the Son, the Father, the Holy Spirit. But every other entity in between that has created our universe, that helped create this universe, that watch over us, the Brotherhoods of Light, the many mansions of the Father. It's all there. And it's all government. It's like a government running. And when I get later into the other stuff, I'll go into it a little bit more. This is the fun part. My favorite Jason has been talking. I mean, he mentions this 118 a lot. But recently, in the last 2 of his lives, was talking about the Akrios Matrix and what's happening. Now, JJ goes into this a little bit, and this is where I have to be very playful with words, because you really can't not take right out of the book what he's talking about, because you'll get lost. The magnetic null zone, the part of space we are moving into, that will change forces of creation, which is the density of the the atmosphere of the planet. This activation and change will divide So some will be violent while others are more Christ conscious like. The division of the upward spiral of light and the negative old electromagnetic frequency. It's like the galactic war and the light cleaning of the lower vibrations and forms. Okay. Whatever you want to consider this planet, flat, globe, toroidal, whatever, don't matter. Our little chunk of rock that we are on inhabiting right now is, and I've described this before in many other of my videos, we are moving into a photonic pocket of space. I call it a bubble pocket of space, where the density is less. So therefore, we are dense. We're a low vibe, dense, three-dimensional beings, and we are being whisked up into this zone. Some people say it has plasma and photons. Other people are saying magnetic null zone. I think both are correct. All this is doing is aiding us in ascension, aiding us by aiding our biochemistry, moving us into a higher consciousness, a higher light frequency, a higher vibration frequency. We are moving up. Whether you want to admit to it or not, we are. And when it's talking about getting rid of the old frequency, well, a paradigm is collapsing in front of us as we speak. But it's all a part of your contracts that you've made before you were born, before you came into this incarnation, into the body you inhabit now. You made that decision. It's not that consciously, I think maybe you could change it. I don't see why not. But sometimes you are like, I got to repeat their density. I'm not done here. I want to have this experience again. I don't feel comfortable moving up. I don't like change. I want to have my, my comforts of earth in this form, which is fine. There's no judgment there. So those people will be passing on. Some people who pass on will graduate and will go, but in another form. Some people will stay here where we inhibit right now and do it all over again. That's on you and your soul contract. Many of us, old souls, star seeds, people who are ready to be harvested, we've waited a very, very, very long time, and it keeps getting pushed back, finally are starting to see the differences in society, in politics, in all of it. We are now having the truth be uncovered. We're slowly trying to kill the brainwashing that has been occurring. That right now it's like a reverse psychology, trying to show everybody like, well, this is what you did to us. Now you're going to get a taste of what happens when it's done to you, because you only experience things and learn if you go through it, right? And some of us are kind of done and tired going through everybody else's awakening. I get it. I'm done. So we're moving in that type of space right now. If you have noticed the Schumann resonance, there's a lot of spikes, there's a lot of CMEs, there's a lot of X-class flares coming in our direction, and that is not to scare you. That's our upgrades. You're feeling tired, you're not sleeping at night, you're super awake at night, but like you're dead exhausted in the day. You either are high on energy or you're low on energy. You're purging, your body's not doing that great, or you're craving some things. It's all a part of you changing internally. So bear that in mind. He also notes population 1 equals intelligence. Population 2 equals star regions, recycle, use knowledge to create aberrations in heaven. So right now we would be considered population 1, and we're moving into population 2. Oh, this is the hard part. This is the hard part. In JJ, her text synopsis here, we are programmed Israel. It's not a place that's inhabited, it's the people. Program Israel is one that aligns with the infinite way. All within the Father's plan is a programmed victory which will signal the soul tribes of spiritual Israel. What is happening now? It has nothing to do with your religion. It has nothing to do with who you follow and your faith and any of it. It's a program. There's no Gentiles. We're freaking human, and we're all classified as program Israel. And those of us who are aligned in the infinite way of love and light are going through some hell of a freaking spiritual war right now, and we know that we are. And we're finding the people to help us. But you have to understand, this is something that's very important that a lot of people, message me and stuff. Everybody plays a different role in this awakening. Everybody has a purpose, a mission, and they align with those people. But as a bigger whole, we're all together. But each one fills different slots. You might fill 1 or 2 of those slots because that's what your mission's calling for. Other people might have another mission. We all have the same mission. The end goal is the same, but our jobs are all different and compartmentalized. I know for a fact, not all the time, and I'm not always aware of it, but in my sleep, I work upstairs. And I'm going to have that confirmed and validated for me. I have a session with High Vibes Up May 6th. Because I need to, there's a lot of things that I need to figure out. Why am I blocked? Why am I in this situation? Whatever is blocking me needs to be unblocked, and I'm sure they can help me figure that out or give me some tools that I can use that I'm not aware of. Sometimes spiritual people need other spiritual people because their abilities are not mine, and they can help me where I can't because I don't have those abilities. So it's a whole feedback loop of helping each other. So I reached out to them to see if they can help me figure and solve this block out so that I can move forward with my work. But in the other instance, I know at sometimes I am upstairs doing work. A lot of people are telling me they see me in dreams. You might very well see me in a dream. I'm not consciously aware of those things. As much as sometimes I wish I was, because I would be able to be more interactive maybe, or heal, or whatever the case is. I don't have, my team upstairs is protecting me for whatever the reasons are, and it has nothing to do with people that are doing and seeing me. I just am not aware of that. at this moment in time. Could it be revealed to me later? Maybe. But I just wanted to get that out of the way, because you can't assume that everybody that you run into who is spiritual is going to be the one that helps you on your way. There's a greater community that me and a bunch of other people are trying to put together, so that like-minded people start finding like-minded people, and eventually you find those people that have the abilities that you do that can help you on your mission. One of my missions is to get this information out to everybody. That's just the one mission as of right now that I can think of that I could do to help everybody. My other missions are sub and unconsciously done. Besides doing my own inner work, besides trying to figure out what am I going to do? Am I moving? What am I eating tomorrow? Because I only eat once a day. You know, this stuff is not easy when your cup isn't full. My cup is not full. My spiritual cup is very full, but my physical body, everyday to day life is not fun. So just be aware of that when you're looking for your tribe. It's very important. There are people on similar missions. They might not be the same mission, but it helps to reach out and just to look around where other people are leading. And if it resonates with you, jump on it. If it doesn't, these people are coming out of the woodwork every day. More people are coming up and being really brave and starting to talk and starting to be more of themselves. You have to walk in your authentic path. My oracle readings that I did today, Spirit is like, even to the normal people who don't watch my content, they just watch my oracle card readings. I warn them, everything is an internal. Spirit was like, work on your inner self. What is it that you need to let go, and let it go? Toxic people, toxic situations, let it go. Overall message of the 3 readings that I did today. So go check that out. It's just aligning with yourself. This is the time right now to do inner work, to find yourself, to know yourself, and to start looking outside of your paradigm, looking in different directions. Critically think what makes sense to you. Once you have your basis for just having an open ear, things will start falling into place. A lot is happening in the next couple of days to weeks that your strength is going to be tested. Major time. It might not be being physically seen right now, but a lot of people are starting to feel it. So just be aware. We have 12 consciousness dimensions of our spiritual avatars, which will be reprogrammed to the original place of Ancient of Days. We are going back to the original way that God wanted us to be, with all of our abilities intact. We are going to be reprogrammed, and that's what's going on now, to what we were originally without being manipulated. We were manipulated, and we're going back to what we were supposed to be. Before the new start, the planet will go through a geomagnetic upheaval, and changes to the poles will bring new programming, a new meridian of time. if you haven't noticed already, the poles have been shifting big time. Major events on our planet have been happening for the last 2 years. More volcanoes are going off, more earthquakes, and not just the 10K earthquakes that are for other reasons. There are major earthquakes happening constantly now around because the tectonic sheets are moving. There's no mystery to that. So there are upheavalings happening on our existence. A prophecy of ancients breaking the 7 seals of Revelation that will explain the Brotherhood of Light's role in aiding us who can accept the new life in other universes. We will then have a quantum leap. Another deep breath. There are going to be events, and those who choose to have an open mind, those who choose to accept and embrace the things that are going to be coming in our near future, will be the ones who have the quantum leap and go further than just where we're going to go next. We are going to be introduced to beings slowly, in my opinion, but it's saying it right here. Okay, so even if they're light beings, okay, even if, and it doesn't need to necessarily what we would call extraterrestrials or aliens or interdimensional beings. People freak out when they see orbs of light. Like I did a video and all of a sudden the light really changed and I felt something and I'm like, holy crap. Stuff like that freaks people out, but it exists and you have to accept it because it could be a being of good. They come in their light bodies. You can't see half of the things that are going on around you because there is multidimensionality going around you right now. You just can't physically feel or see it. Sometimes you feel it and you're like, oh, what's going on? You have to have an open mind to those things. Okay, shouldn't be scared and you shouldn't sit in fear for that. Okay, if we keep continuing to banter the negative, the demonic, you're not doing the work inside of yourself to say that you're going to stand in your sovereignty and you're going to say, oh, go away. You're not welcomed in my space. Take sage, go around your house. You're not welcomed in my space. In the love and light of God and creation, get the fuck out. Stand your damn ground. It works. And if it doesn't, there's other techniques and other things to do. But you can't sit in fear and you can't worry all these things are going to come and take over. Be the Viking warrior that many of you are. Just take it. They're not afraid to die. They embrace it because they know it continues. They know it's just a physical body. They always knew that. Watch Vikings. The show, it's not really historically accurate, but taking away the notion that you should not fear death. It's nothing to fear. Move on. So the Brotherhoods of Light is another Urantia parallel there. And we're gonna, those of us who can, look in another being's eyes with love and light and respect and see it as an equal, will be quantum leaping. And again, a lot of them might look a lot scarier, It's just like looking at those guys who are big and buff and like the biker guys. And it's a stereotype that I don't agree with because I like them. But for a lot of people, this is something that they could relate to. So I am not here to point anything of the negative out. But when you look at people who are tattooed or people with piercings, like I have very huge ear gauges in my ears. I do have tattoos. People freak out and they think they're nasty or just not like everybody else. And then when you sit down and you have a discussion, they're just normal people, just self-expressing. Or if your car broke down and they come up to you and you're afraid, but they fix your car and they don't charge you. I mean, these are very nice people. So they might look intimidating on the outside, but a lot of them might look really, really, really scary, but they're not. But you have to use your internal and discernment within to make that assumption and not jump to conclusions. Really take in your gut instincts and use your energy wisely in determining, with no bias, by the way, if it's a positive or negative polarity entity. And even if it is of the negative polarity, you're going to send it love and send it packing. The combo of science, evolution, and consciousness of living light, which will be the I am that I am, I am that I am, will be more understood. So the science of evolution and consciousness of living light. We are now starting to have those metaphysicians tackle this issue of combining the conscious thought, the mathematical thought, and smooshing it together to create this living light. And knowing the fact that I am that I am. The harvest. The ionization will encompass the body, the new body of light. That's what we're going to become, not necessarily in 4D. He doesn't really go into the density so much. He really refers to third. But in the higher, it's a process. We just don't jump in our avatars to a light body. It don't work like that. But we're going through a transformation and we're going to go uphill. So we go to 4D. We have our new DNA changes. We start being acclimated to telethought and working with, guides and teachers to help us hone in these skills. Then if some of those people go to 5th density, and then they start their biochemical transformation, that happens even more. And then they go to 6th density, where you can still inhibit avatar, but you can switch in and out of a light body to a physical body, or you can create a thought form. And that body of light will connect to the galactic house of many mansions with deliverance of the flesh. So this is saying that when you are harvested, the new body of light will be inhabited eventually, and you will be able to float to the many mansions. And if you read Urantia, you'll find out what those many mansions are. 2 different books, by the way, but very similar concepts, very similar wording to a lot of these concepts. Just an FYI, very similar. It's not the same, but it's very similar. this is going to piss people off, and I don't want people pissed off. Because, again, we were programmed to hear this word in a specific way, but you were taught this when you're a little kid, and you got to unteach it for yourself. The collective Messiah. The end of this cycle. The Jesus, Moses, Elijah as Paradise Trinity of the Christ will then return with Uriel, the inner light, Metatron, the outer light, and Michael, creator of our section of the local universe of light. The righteous will graduate to the light life worlds. We are the collective Messiah. We are fractals of all of it. No one's coming to save us but ourselves. We have to do the work in ourselves. Do you think that someone walked and traversed different planes of not just existence, but of lands, and sit in meditation and gain knowledge from gurus and monks in other countries to come back and to be put on and he did the work. He was teaching everybody, not just him. There was a lot of other people who did it for their culture. And that's what a lot of people fail to realize. The Messiah to everybody is different, because if you're in different cultures, there was always that one who was the teacher who was sacrificed. Why? Because they were made an example to show you that's the freaking way you need to follow, because that was stopped. They were stopped from going on with their teaching. Why? They were afraid that people actually could encompass those abilities, and they stopped you. Okay, they being the negative polarity, they stopped humans from gaining the knowledge. So what we are being asked to do in the here and now is to gain this knowledge, to go within. And again, everybody's at different paces and different levels of learning, which is a beautiful thing, because we all have something to contribute. But we're doing the work. Other people are not. We are a collective Messiah. We have to save our own selves, but we have to do it as a collective. Why? Because we're all one. We're individualized, but we are in essence one. So just take that in mind. And again, this is my opinion. I'm inserting in here. I'm inserting how I'm interpreting these texts, but other people are talking very similar ways when they're talking about the Keys of Enoch. And I mean, it just makes sense for me. You have to do the work. You can't ignore your trauma. You can't ignore your shadow self. You cannot ignore your problems. Like, I'm not ignoring my problems. I'm asking people for help. I'm asking people, if you have a job that you think I could do, please reach out to me. I put it out all the time. I need help. And hopefully one day someone comes along and says, here, I think you'd be really good at this kind of job. Boom. My life is changing, but I'm putting it out in the universe that I need help. I've been praying every day. I need your help. Angels, I need your help. Please, I need your help. I need a sign. But I'm also working on my inner self. And that's what everybody should be doing right now. And we're coming to a point, whether you want to believe in astrology or not, whether you want to believe in the planets and the energies and all that stuff, trust me, why do they say the full moon's out? It's lunacy, lunatics. Why? It has a lot to do with your internal body and your biochemistry. There's a lot of retrograding going to happen. We have a black moon eclipse happening in 2 days. A lot of high flying energy is happening, so you have to be mindful of how you're thinking. And if you start thinking negatively and you catch yourself, look at cute baby pictures of sloths and kitties and puppies, or anything that makes you happy. Some people don't like animals. Those that didn't choose the upgrade, like I was saying before, in the higher light, will return to the beginning of third density. The righteous will move to the new creation, or the new inhabited beyond the ice wall, or in another dimension, whatever have you. But there's no right or wrong, and there's nothing to be afraid of, because again, we made these choices before we came here in the physical body. So there's nothing wrong with, not knowing your plan. You want to live, no matter what, your righteous life. And again, yes, we're human and we are as perfect as we can be. We have vices and we have things that we go through because we need to learn from them. We get sick, we have to learn from it. We have challenges put in our path, is because we need to learn from it. But that doesn't mean you sit there and not ask for help or ask for a direction, or seek people out that might have some answers for you. Can't just sit alone and idle. I'm sure not sitting alone and idling. I might be sitting alone physically, but I'm not inhibiting that energy transfer, let's just say. He goes into the transformation in the crystalline body. Now, there's a lot of terms that I just can't repeat, because in essence, everything he writes is like just so effing perfect that I can't replicate it. The Father's cosmic pyramid, God's creator's plan, has no end. It's infinite. So like space, that we are told, no matter what it is that encompasses space, it goes on and on, my friend. I know you're going to kill me for having that song now stuck in your heads, especially those who know about that. There's no ending. We move up in density. In each density, we have billions of years of moving up in those densities and having cycles in those densities. And then when those cycles are done, we move up again. And then we do all of that all over again and all over and again. And then we go back to source. And then we stay there for whatever. And then maybe we go out and create another universe for a gaseous planet, whatever. We make our own universe, or we come with a group of people and we make a whole universe for our own selves, but in, again, creator's image. So it never ends. And this has been going on since the beginning of infinity. Now, the fun portion of Key 118, the office of the Christ. It's an office The righteous inherit the light kingdom. The office of the Christ determines that. And there are holders of that office. Yes, Yeshua was one of them. But other people have. The universe inhabit many different mansions with varied electromagnetic spectrum. Blue-white solar spectrum will come over our solar system by the Brotherhood of Light to help out the sun not to go into a collapse. So I speculate, without having to go back and read it. Now you see where my conundrum comes in. That might be the flash. That might be the solar flash that was talked about, and by everybody talking about it. It's a blue-white solar spectrum that will come over our solar system by the Brotherhood of Light to help out the sun. Now, I don't know if they're talking about the solar simulator that's up that we see, or the actual central sun that inhabits Alcyone. I don't know. But it's going to help it not collapse, because it might. But that might be the solar flash that everybody's talking about. I don't think there's anything to be afraid of, because we're, again, a giant experiment, and we're being heavily watched and guarded. Even if the baddies try to infiltrate, it doesn't matter, because we're being watched. P209. Are you ready? Our current brain energies, which is material at our beginning, will reappear at the end of the present upgrades as we transform into the new consciousness, thought form, or light being. Again, yes, but also that's not in fourth density. Not that I can think of. If we are moving in these bodies to fourth density, full octave of fourth, not the sub-subs or the sub, fully transmersed into a fourth density vehicle, which is the vehicle we are inhabiting now, I don't see necessarily the upgrades into a light being just yet, but yes, new consciousness, absolutely. That's when we're going to start forming our social memory complex, if you choose to be a part of one. Again, we are individualized beings that will share consciousness. So telepathy, for example, I have a thought, you could read my mind. There are ways to control and to have privacy. Beam me up, Scotty. No, are you going to show up in that chick that you had a fantasies with shower? Because wouldn't that infringe on her free will, because she didn't ask you to do that? So yeah, there's going to be a lot of things we need to learn first before we can become a light being, and that is self-control. So that's a consciousness that we are all now coming into. Many of us are already in it. Many of us are forming it. Many of us are upgrading. So know that that will be coming. I just don't think the light being body will come until late 5th, going into 6th density, depending on your harvest. The first Adam Kadmon to the last Adam Kadmon. If there is a physical body, the spiritual body exists as well. So we're going from the first Adam Kadmon to the last. We are the last. From what I'm taking out of what I read. Our physical and spiritual bodies exist together. All are energy frequencies for materialization. So you are a frequency, you have a biofield, you are electric, you inhabit both. Quote from JJ, "It is even so written, the first man, Adam, became a living soul. The last Adam became a life-giving spirit." Let me read that again. It is even so written. The first man, Adam, became a living soul. The last Adam became a life-giving spirit. The weights and measures were given to man, the first race, so the building of the race can be seated, but all was corrupted. So there was a lot of measures taken to creating us to be seated, but it got corrupted. The Alpha cycle was of God's creation, though the fallen watchers streamed in perfect physical light into them. Thus, here we are. Yes, we are a part of God's creation, but we've been manipulated by the fallen. Or whatever you want to consider what seeded us, we were corrupted. It's in all the books. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're just undoing the damage done to us. That's all. And we're alive to see it. Now we are receiving the light needed to transform, so multidimensional levels of consciousness can be programmed back. So this is what I've been talking about with ascension and the consciousness, and everybody's starting to awaken, everybody's starting to remember who they were. You're getting the codes, you're getting the upgrades. This is why you're here. You are playing a role in the grand experiment. Congratulations. We keep hearing people say this is a biblical war and a multidimensional war. Oh, it sure damn is. The Lords of Light verse, JJ puts it Luciferian. Although he doesn't really, I'm going to read. The higher light energies fell to serve the Luciferian forces out of focus. Understand there is freedom and the dimensions of light. The Prince of Light may go from the Father's throne to create life and light in his glory. The higher light energies fell to serve the Luciferian forces out of focus. Understand there is freedom and dimensions of light. The Prince of Energy may go from the Father's throne to create life and light in his own glory. Enki, that's us. Not of JJ Hertech, but of my own assessment of all the research I've been doing, which it might be valid here. There's offices, and again, Michael created this universe, this local universe that we inhabit, that we're in on the Sagittarius spiral tail. Okay. Lucifer was also, it's not just the one, it's many angels that seeded us, that formed this local universe. It was Michael as its head, and then came everybody else. I believe that the role Lucifer chose to play in this dimension was to enable us to go from the dark to see the light, because he is the light bringer. He's the light bringer. Unlike Lucifer, Satan is the baddie. He's the real adversary, not Lucifer. They're two separate beings in my eyes. Two separate. So you have to remember, they have to tell you the truth. So who do a lot of them follow? It's probably because they're right. Now, everything else they do in those terms are negative and not okay. But people who really follow this understanding that he fell to help us and he did help create us and is a fractal of us as well. Again, we're all one and the same. So just put that in perspective. It might not be something you resonate with. A lot of people don't. But in the way JJ Hertech worded this, I had to again make it in my own way. Just helps to understand. The Prince of Light, Lucifer. And he helped seed us. And he played a role, like they all do. We all play a role. We're all here playing a role on the divine stage. And that doesn't mean I take anything away from Creator. I don't. Again, it's a part of the creation. Now, another one. The office of the Christ was established to overcome the creations of which fell away from the Father. Hence Lucifer. Honor, dominion was first. Love came second. Which then you go into the Lucifer rebellion. What dimension did it take place in? What density did it take place in? I'm not aware. But I have a different view on a lot of this stuff for personal reasons. But regardless, honor and dominion first, love second, when love should have came first. But again, in Creator's design, the body will transform with our consciousness because it's interconnected to the Christos, the redemptive body, the body of light, reigning with the Father of kingdoms. Our war is also with the sons of darkness versus sons of light. It's happening now. It's been going on for a long time, but we're seeing a lot more now. All the upgrades to us will happen after the war, which is ending. And we survived the great changes. Those that didn't choose the upgrade in the higher light will return to the beginning of third density. The righteous will move to the new creation. Oh, did I read this already? I totally did. Because here, that's the page. Sorry, guys. It happens. But it's still relevant. It's hard for us to view the fallen entities because they appear as the light but are false. Truth. They reveal vibration in the Father's name to know the right energy. Jesus does warn us, quote, false Christs will arise. Why? Because Christ is within. No one should be claiming that they are. They're not the office holders. Again, Jesus held that office, but so did other entities. It's an office. Jesus Christ of the Christ office, as in J.T. Hertek's version. We are a biochemical frequency that's in constant change, and you have the capacity to change the biorhythms, understand the harmonies, physical to light. So we're going through our changes biochemically in our bodies, and so is the earth, by the way. And we have the capacity to harmonize these things. And that will happen most likely after the war, when things are cleansed and purified, because everything we consume, for the most part in my eyes, is poisoned or damaged. Even your organic fruit and veggies is still getting all the particles and stuff out of the air. That is no good for us. I know that there's going to be a purge and a cleanse of this planet, whether it be something we see or something that's invisible force that helps out. I don't know, but we can speculate all day. But either way, we have to be cleansed. All of us have even if you're healthy, continuous amounts of things inhabiting our bodies that are not good for us, that will be purged. I'm sure of it. Now, the last portion of 209, he goes into the black cube geometries, are of destruction and not good, and contains contamination codes that were placed inside. Yes. So that's honestly a nice chunk of stuff, but I, again, can't read. So I'm going to leave it there. The black cubes are very interesting. You can see them there. There's a few statues, sculptures of them in and around places. I used to hang out by the one on Astor Place in the city because that's where all the goth kids back in the late 90s, early 2000s used to chill, because St. Mark's Place was like down the block and it was the coolest place ever. Yeah, not good. Not good. The one they're really focusing on is the one in Mecca. And I don't want to be here to disrespect anybody, but if that's the pilgrimage that you want to go, do not touch it. Don't touch it. There's a reason why they made that inversion. So just be aware that it's not to disrespect anybody or your following. That agenda will be revealed for sure. That is the two really big keys from the Keys of Enoch. I encourage, again, there's just a wealth of knowledge that is in this book. And if any of you have captured the original videos, you hear it. This, again, I reference a lot because the other books also correspond a lot of their information, even though it's said differently, but the same things, especially with Urantia. This aligns with the House of Many Mansions, the Brotherhood of Light, the administration, the sons, the Paradise Sons, the Trinity. It's all here, and it's all in Urantia. It might not be the same exact description, but it is talking about a governmental hierarchy that happens upstairs or in inhabited space. It is noteworthy to read the book. It is very difficult in certain parts, but I hope me being able to break a lot of this down and giving examples and just talking out like how I'm thinking about it, you can correlate with it, you can go deeper with it. It's a must-have. And I suggest going on JJ's website. Of course, the links will be below. Oh, my back. To purchase it. He has a lot of books there. I would love all his library. I would love every one of those books because I couldn't keep my eyes off that one. It took me 5 months to read that book because I had to keep rereading in order for me to understand the concepts. So with that, sending each and every one of you love and light. If you have it within you to give me a love donation, whatever it is very well accepted and appreciated, and with a lot of gratitude as well. Times are rough for everybody, I get it. I'm on my last legs, and if there's a job out there that you think I can do, if there's anything that you can think of that, hey, like I had an idea, maybe this might something that you might be interested in. Again, I am dyslexic, not bad, but enough. And sometimes you can hear it when I'm reading. That things where I am typing for, like, you know, all that remote job stuff, I've tried it. Some of those tests I just pass and some of them I don't, because my brain thinks a little too fast for my fingers, and that's the truth. You know, we're not perfect, and I'm sure not. I know where my strengths and my weaknesses are, and I admit to them. Being on the phone is something, again, is not a strong suit of mine. I have too much noise going on in my background during the day. I'm an artist. I'm hands-on. I can't help it. That's just my nature. And doing stuff like this makes me really happy. And I'm going to continue no matter what. Before I go and end this, I have a fleeting suspicion that they're doing another purge on YouTube. More people are being taken off and censored. If that happens to my channel, I have an AllyKat211 Oracle reading channel. I don't know if they'll take that down, but if not, I will post there where I'm going to be. But I highly suggest that you follow me into some capacity, either on Telegram, I'm on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm on all those. I'm also on Gab, and I'm also on MeWe. So I don't have certain links because of, but I'm there. And I also upload my videos, not my Oracle readings, to. So I have another platform to find those things. So don't worry if I disappear. I have backups. But I want everybody to be able to find me if that does occur. Okay, so know that I didn't just disappear. If they do this, I'll find another way to get this information out. This is already existent. So yeah, just make sure if you're following me and you like the work that I do and you're getting something out of it, try to hit me up on social media. I might not respond right away. I have really freaky hours that I take naps and everything in between because of what's going on with the energies. But just know that I will get back to you eventually. Also, emailing me if something does go down, make sure you have my email. That way I can reach out and tell you where I am. So I'm just being cautious. I don't know if that will really literally happen. I'm not putting that into existence. But if it does, I want everybody to be aware that if that happens, I'm at other spots. So now with that, sending each and every one of you love and light wherever you are in the world. Be safe, be seen. We're going to get through this together. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.